Hi, welcome to the Lisa Goodman Show. And today, I get to interview these game changers in the wellness arena that is so exciting because it's an arena that I absolutely love and devour daily. And I have a really special lady with me today, Saara Vakil, and she has created a product that has not been out very long, 7 months at that maybe, but prior to it launching. It actually hasn't been out 7 months. We'll talk about that, but it is exceptional, and I actually use it in my soup cleanse with a turmeric latte that we make, and the cleansers love it. It's very high quality. You know what a snob I am when it comes to supplements. So welcome to my show.
Thank you for having me.
It's so exciting to have you because the minute we met, I fell in love. We met on a plane and we sat next to each other and we were always meant to meet, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was crazy how we met actually, because we were kind of playing phone tag and chasing each other for months. And here I am sitting next to you on the plane. And the funny part is, like, when I was getting into the plane, I was like, I wonder if she's gonna, because I knew you were gonna be at that event in Aspen. I was like, I wonder if she's gonna be on this plane. And little you know, I just walk in and I literally got the goosebumps when I saw you, like, and that was my seat assignment. Right. I just looked at you. I was like, yes.
I know, with those big eyes. And I mean, the whole plane ride, we talked. And I don't think we shut up at all.
No, that was the fastest.
Took a breath.
Yeah,
right?
That was the fastest plane ride ever. And the lady in front of us, remember? She ended up giving me a ride.
Right. I mean, it was when you're meant to hook up with people in this business, or like in life in general, but I would have to say in this business for me in the last 8 years, it's meant to happen.
Yeah.
And when it's good, we were talking earlier, it's really good. And what you've created and what you're doing is beyond good.
Thank you.
I just love watching you grow and expand and see all the success coming your way. And it just seems kind of endless. So I feel lucky to have you on early before all the explosion.
Before and after, hopefully.
Yes, exactly. But tell a little bit about, why you went this route, because you were, went to business school, you were working on Wall Street, right? Management consultant, the whole fast track in that world.
I'll give you a little background. So yes, as you mentioned, I started my career in Wall Street. So from very early on, super high stress job. And after business school, I went actually into management consulting. And I advise Fortune 500 companies on their innovation and digital strategy. So as part of my job, obviously it was like intense projects, like 80, 100 hours a week, and also traveling to the client side 2-3 times a week. And other than, I know.
Outside
of dealing with stress and anxiety from all the pressure, I started having this chronic body pains. And I love to work out, so I would work out, but I was just literally, my body was shut down afterwards.
And so you pushed through the pain, but
pain became part of my life.
Yeah, okay.
It just kind of, I thought that was what it was. And my parents are physicians, so every time I would say something, there was here's a naproxen prescription. And, they're very traditional. No. Traditional doctors. So, it was just always okay, take this. And it got to a point that because my mom is diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they were thinking, oh, maybe it's something that you have as well. And actually the medication for that is antidepressant and painkillers combined. And when it came down to that, I was like, no way, this is not happening. And I think that's sort of when I went on this journey of I'm going to try to get to the root. For me, it's really important to always figure out what the root cause is.
Right.
So I'm kind of a nerd, in my career involved.
Well, especially with the researching with the companies and everything. I could see it doing the same thing with this arena.
And, I became obsessed with figuring out what it was.
That's the Aries in us.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So I started doing a lot of research and I started learning about inflammation. And I was dumbfounded by how chronic inflammation impacts us, both at the body level and brain level, leading to depression, anxiety, cancer, arthritis, you name it. And I just started thinking, I'm like, why is no one talking about it? And
to the extent that
yeah. I mean, we hear about, gut health, we
Right.
hear about hydration, we hear about so many different topics in wellness, but I just feel like no one's really talking. I mean, it started, like, I think some conversation has started, but like nobody's really focused on chronic inflammation and how it impacts you long run. So once I learned about that, I actually, because essentially naproxen, you are taking it, or ibuprofen, to decrease inflammation in your body, and that's how it helps you. So I wanted a natural remedy, and someone told me about turmeric. Funny enough, growing up, my mom used to put turmeric in everything we ate.
Was it a daily ritual for you?
Yeah, so most Persian dishes, they have turmeric, black pepper, and like salt. It's just pretty much, what you put in the dish. And, growing up, it just kind of was part of the food. I never really knew much about it. It's just, you take it for granted. And then obviously when I went on my own and my diet and traveling all the time.
You did not eat like that.
I'm not getting this anymore.
Yeah.
And
did you eat healthy?
I did.
Okay.
I tried. I mean, it's really hard when you're traveling and you're living out of hotels, and like you have to entertain clients. No matter how much you try to eat healthy, you still have to have a glass of wine or a drink. So, all that obviously was going into this whole, equation. And I was actually advised to take turmeric pills as a natural sort of, once I started learning more about turmeric. So I was on them for about a couple of months, and I was like, this is really not helping me. And so that's when and then my father was like, I was like, oh, you're totally passing this through.
Right.
You're basically throwing your money away. And anytime anyone challenges me, I have to like figure out what's going on.
How to come back with the right response
and then, like,
that is.
Or even find more information, inform myself. And I mean, if that's really true, then and I haven't seen results, so what's the problem? So I started learning, and obviously one of the big things was the fact that turmeric, like curcumin, which is, as you know, the medicinal ingredient in turmeric, is not bioavailable. So pepperin in black pepper is what actually activates that. And also I learned, like, you have to mix it with oil and, warming spices.
That's,
to be honest,
makes it bioavailable, the oil.
Yeah, it increases bioavailability, and part of it is because I think, like, oil probably takes a little bit to digest in your system.
Longer.
Yeah, and it, like, allows turmeric to open up, and, like, I guess I'm the worst when it comes to science, but it was just, part of what I sort of read over and over in these studies. But also there was an interesting study that BBC did, that they put 3 different groups of people, one on placebo pills, one on turmeric pills, and one consuming turmeric through food and beverage. And what was really interesting, after 6 weeks, they saw changes at a molecular level on the 3rd group, which kind of led them to I guess changing the shape of the cell in a way that doesn't become carcinogenic, and, like, just kind of extension of that are all these studies that are going on about anti-carcinogenic impact of turmeric. But I thought that was really fascinating because, you have 2 groups, one on pills and one consuming it through food and beverage. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to see what's out there, something that I could bring around with me and travel with.
Did you go pick up every turmeric product on the market?
So this is about 4.5, 5 years ago. There wasn't much.
Really?
There was
like
only one brand. Yes. And I got all excited. I ordered it, and it came in, and I mixed it with, like, to drink it as golden milk, and it just was not for me, like, the taste of it. And I always say there's so many great things out there, but that are good for you. But if it doesn't taste good, it's just not sustainable. I may be able to take it once, twice, 3 times, but then after that, nope, thank you.
Right. So true.
So
for most of us, I mean, that is a problem.
Yeah. And it's like, clean product that tastes good.
Yeah.
And I'm a foodie and I love exploring in the kitchen, and it's just sort of something that is a passion of mine. So I started reading on these different Ayurvedic, practices and mixtures, and I started making my own mix and started including a few other things I was using at the time. I had just learned about maca, so I got really excited. I started adding maca to it. And then, I started traveling with this yellow powder and bringing it around. And
everywhere you went. Were you still consulting? Were you still, okay.
I was.
And you were taking the powder and...
I was. Like, I was in the hotel room, like, in the morning. I would, like, drizzle it over my eggs.
Yeah.
Or, I would just ask for a steam like, almond milk and just put it, like... And, when people see you're carrying that, everyone wonders, like, what is it?
What are you doing?
So I started talking about it, and I started sharing it.
How long did it take you to see results from using that powder, when you mixed up your potion?
I would say, like my pain gradually started going away.
Yeah.
One of the big things was just like being so much more calm. Yeah.
So that was also a benefit.
Yeah, huge.
Wow.
Like coming back from client dinners, and I would have like a cup of golden milk before I went to bed, and it was just like literally, it was just like,
wow. I've never actually thought of it in the calming aspect, more about the health benefits of the inflammatory, the pain, or the joints, or even, I guess you're right, anxiety, depression. So
like sort of, I think like it really helped me with my anxiety. Is one thing. And then I guess the bonus part, which I had never intended, so I had adult acne. And I wasn't even conscious of like the fact that turmeric is actually good for skin disorders and acne and all that. And my mom was out of country for 3 months. She came back, and she always like gives me a tough time about not taking care of my skin. And so she comes back,
Mom.
she's like, what have you done to your skin? Like that was actually
because it looked
just
great.
probably,
it was glowing.
It was just like clear. It had cleared out. And I was like, oh, maybe, I'm like less stressed. Like I didn't even actually put 2 and 2 together. And then the moment she mentioned that, I was like, oh shit. Excuse me, but like
you could say that on here.
Okay. I was like, I've read about turmeric actually having benefits for skin and improving skin and acne and all that. And it just like, it was that moment of like aha moment for me that's like, oh my God, this is actually working.
Wow. Sorry, I mean, is there anything this product almost doesn't do?
Well, there are,
like when I think about it, I mean, and some of the things you're bringing up that I didn't know, I really actually didn't know about skin so much. But
because, I think, and that's why I have become so interested and obsessed with the topic of inflammation.
Yeah.
Because I think even like with skin disorders, like at the root of everything is really inflammation. And it's like, we start building up this inflammation when we're younger. We're like in 20s, and we don't, it's not impacting us, so we're not aware of it. And then later on in life, when you start like hitting your 40s, 50s, in my case, like, in my 30s, started like manifesting itself in different forms.
Yeah.
And for that reason, one of my big missions is to really start this movement from like university and educate people around this. Like just because you're not suffering from pain or arthritis at this moment, it doesn't mean that you're not building up this inflammation in your body. Yeah, so it was really interesting to sort of have this discovery. And, I kind of had gotten in a point in my career that I just wasn't fulfilled, It's kind of like I had checked.
This was definitely fulfilling you on the side.
It was.
Much more
I mean,
so.
I never thought about it as a business, to be honest with you. Even when I decided to quit my job, which was like an overnight thing, it was like more of it's like I'm making all this money, I'm traveling all the time, I just have no life. And what is really the meaning of life? And for me, I grew up in Iran. I was born in the U.S. and I grew up in Iran, so it just kind of like had the reverse move than most other people's cases. And so for me, it was like this checkbox of things that I had to, check.
Right.
And
right.
it's finally
did that.
okay. All the
And they're
boxes
done
are
that.
checked, and
Right.
it's like, what's going on?
I think that's pretty remarkable to check them at an early age. That's really amazing because a lot of people don't get there till later.
Thank you. But it's like
So-
a lot of years of stressing.
Right,
I look
right.
at younger
And
generation
struggling.
now, and they feel like they're so much smarter and so much more aware of, in some
Right,
ways, I
right.
guess.
Right.
But it was part of my journey,
Yeah.
and
I'm curious though, because I just love in terms of like how you source your products and the things that go, the powders and all the combinations that go in here. I mean, it's pretty remarkable because we were talking earlier, when I look at supplements or powders or all of these superfoods on the market,
Yeah.
I see such crappy fillers and I see stuff in there that doesn't need to be in there. And
Yeah.
why does it need to be there? Is it because of the cost factor or whatever it is? But I'm just curious, how hard it is to source really high-end quality products in the US.
Yeah. So that's definitely was a huge challenge when I actually decided to make this into a business. Because I had created the formulas for myself, from like maca, I went on to like adding other superfoods because I was like, if I'm going to take this blend, I might as well add my other superfoods, whether I'm going to do it in my smoothie, put it in my smoothie,
Right.
put it in my eggs or in food or drink it as golden milk. I just want kind of like a one-stop shop for me.
Yeah.
And, I made it for myself. It was never intended to be commercialized. So obviously I didn't care what I was putting, like how much it would cost. Like I want good
Right.
stuff. I
So
want
you were going for the
everything
high
organic.
cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High quality. Like I wanted to, and it kind of, again, our Aries, like, I'm a nerd. I read about it.
Yeah.
I want quality things.
Yeah.
And, when I actually started putting things together and I was getting advice to like put there was something we had to put in to like increase solubility, like,
Yeah.
so it's like it dissolves better. And I was like, no, like I don't.
Because it wasn't something you liked.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't, I was like, I feel like consumers are becoming way more educated. They're
Yeah.
reading labels more. And also someone who already knows about turmeric, they have experience with it and they prefer to have it like all natural versus me adding something so then they don't see some residue at the end of their cup.
Right.
I just don't know what that is. Like, I don't get it. I don't want it,
Yeah.
in my product. Therefore, I'm not going to sell it to
Right.
you. And interesting thing you talked about fillers was literally, so we launched in October 2017, and what is it right now? We're in April.
Yeah.
And so we've been doing really well with the products thanks to you and so
And
many
others,
other
right.
supporters
Selling
of
out.
this product. Exactly. And
Hard to get.
thank you. So, I was talking to one of my mentors and he was like, you need to add fillers. Like, this is going to take forever for people to get through it. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like, these people are like business minded. They're like, and I do come from that world, so I get it. And it's just like, no, this pack should last like 10 times versus 25. It's like, because this is all pure. All you
Right.
need is like 1 teaspoon. And it's almost like I was offended. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Like, the whole thing about the product is that it's clean, that it's natural.
Yeah.
And
that's who you are at the
that's what I want.
core level.
I don't care to just build a business
Yeah.
around, like, I want good quality products. And you'll be surprised how many messages on Instagram or via email I get, people saying, I love this, like, I love the ingredients. I love that there's, like, I can find everything in my pantry, but obviously this is just, you're putting it together, so I don't have to figure out, like, how much cinnamon, how much cardamom. And then I also read about some of these healing spices that I kind of grew up with, like cardamom, cinnamon,
Right.
that it actually tricks your brain to think it's sweeter than what it is.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I got away with adding a ton of sugar to my products. Like, currently the products have less than a gram of organic coconut sugar
Right.
per serving. But next round, we're even coming out with 2 no sugar added alternatives.
Wow.
And it's all like really figuring out through the R&D like how you mix these spices so it just actually tricks your brain to think it tastes good, because that was the most important thing for me. Like, other than it saying all natural, all organic, no fillers, the other thing was like it has to taste good.
Good. Right.
You know, because I want to be able to like just drink it, and my taste test is like literally just having some of the powder and
plain,
being able to like
not mixing it into anything.
And not like dying from it, because you know turmeric is tough. It's
totally. Oh my God. Well, like I said earlier, I'm massively impressed with you, and it's so fun to watch you. And I just think there's some big stuff ahead, and for you. So I ask all of my guests on the show if they had to sum up their mission in one word, what would yours be?
Honestly, mine is to educate people around inflammation. And I always say my mission is not to sell products, but is to educate you and then give you tools in case you're busy to make this yourself, or you don't want to go source, 9 different spices to mix and figure out how are you going to mix it. But, if you're someone who's at home all day and loves doing this stuff and loves mixing your own ingredients, I have all the ingredients listed.
It's not a hidden thing.
Not a hidden thing. It's not like other, secret spices or formulas. It's just really transparency and being,
so fabulous. Well, you're changing one life at a time,
you
are. I love it.
So.
I love you.
Thank you for all your love and support.
I will continue.
Oh, you've been a big part of this, like
Thank
seriously,
you.
and
it's easy,
kind of meant to be for us to just sort of connect right at the beginning.
It's so easy to be with someone like you and just doing things like this. I mean, I don't see this as often as I'd like.
Yeah.
So
thank
you.
I'm happy, and then we're going to continue making sure we'll deliver the cleanest, most natural, organic
keeping
product.
people healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.